Hello again, viewers, and welcome to another episode of The Now Show. Today's episode gives me a lot of excitement because it's we're talking marriages anyway, and today's episode is entitled Winning in Marriage. And joining us on today's episode is somebody who I consider passionate. She's so passionate about marriages, about families, and she is an author of 4 books on marriages. So I call her an expert in the field. So okay, is my friend and my sister, Amaka Chika-Mbonu.
Hi, everyone.
Finally, we have you doing this with us.
I know, right? I know.
Thank you so much, Amaka. Thank you
for having me. Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, marriage. You know, that's a subject that, you know, it's so important and people talk about it, but somehow we just don't seem to talk enough about it because you still see that marriages still break up. I mean, not too long ago, we heard about marriages of 26, 27, 28 years old breaking up, and you know, marriages of super wealthy people. And you're wondering, okay,
what's happening here?
What exactly is wrong? How do we win in marriage? Amaka, you've been an expert.
Well, you know, an expert. Well, I've been married for 26 years.
Yes.
And the truth is there a magic formula? I don't even know that there is, but I do know that one of the problems we have is that marriage requires work. I say marriage requires work to make it work. And so I always say, let's get to work. And that informs everything I do. Because us not working on our marriages has dire consequences. And within marriage, we need to work on it. And then we need to work on people before they get married, because some of the problems being that happen are that two people are together, but they should never have been together in the first place. So the preparation prior to marriage and the continuous working on it in marriage. And we're not doing this. Many of us think that our marriages are just going to work because we're good people, we go to church, our intentions are good, but that is absolutely wrong.
Wow.
We need to get people ready for marriage. And whilst people are in marriage, even in a good marriage, there's a constant working that needs to be going on to make sure it works, even in marriage, even in a good marriage. Because sometimes people tend to think, but my marriage is great. Why do I need to go for, you know, a seminar? Why do I need to go for counseling? People assume, you know, my marriage is good.
Yes.
But the truth is, we live in a world where nothing moves from disorder to order. Something has to be put in place. And even if something is good, in this world, things tend to deteriorate unless you put the effort in to keep it at status quo or to move it further. And so what we do is people with good marriages take it for granted. And when you take it for granted, it could get bad. And people in bad marriages don't take the steps early enough to try and correct what is wrong.
Okay. There's some of the phrases that people use to describe marriage, even makes it, you know, daunting as it were. And, you know, people are afraid
to go in.
I especially know that the young ones of nowadays, they don't even want to hear about marriage. They're like,
oh,
please don't talk about marriages. You know, and everything
because they've seen their parents, all sorts of things.
And it's so scary. And it's so scary. So how do we change that? How do we change their minds? How do we change that stereotype that they seem to have about marriages?
You know, what I tell the singles is don't be scared, be prepared. That's the truth.
Don't be scared, be prepared.
Be prepared. That's the truth. So many of them are going in, one, they've already seen bad marriages, they've seen their parents' marriages, aunties, uncles, you know, and so they're scared. And so they don't prepare themselves for it. So a lot of young people are marrying for the wrong reasons. He's tall, dark, handsome, speaks with a
that tall, dark, handsome guy.
Tall, dark, nothing's wrong with tall, dark, handsome, but tall, dark, handsome won't cut it when you need to speak about things, or the man that barely speaks. So what we need to tell them is to get ready for marriage, and not just when you've met the person that you think is the person. Before then, there's a lot to work on. There's a lot. Becoming you, being confident in who you are, especially for the women, for the men too, but being confident in who you are, knowing what you want, knowing what you don't want. These are all things that people need to prepare for prior to marriage. For the men who they say don't talk, learn to speak, learn to communicate. For the women, learn to communicate. So there's a lot of preparation that needs to happen before you even meet the person. So that's what I tell the person. That's what I tell a young person. Be prepared, learn the skills. There's a skill set required for marriage, and it has to be learned and continuously honed.
And from what you're saying, it seems to me that one of the important skills is communication.
Oh my God. I think communication after God, because I don't make any apologies, I'm a person of faith.
Yes.
The next most important thing in a relationship is communication, because communication will cut across everything. If you want to discuss money, you'd have to communicate. If you want to discuss your love, just love, communication is key. Sex, communication is key. I mean, it cuts across everything in the marriage relationship. So it's very important as a young person, if we're talking to singles, and even as a married person, that you learn how to communicate. And communication isn't just speaking. Communication is getting your message across to another person. You understand? And a lot of that is not happening. So people are talking, but they're not really communicating. And communicating, part of it is actively listening to the other person, not to respond, but to hear and understand what they're saying and the words behind the words. Not just waiting, he said this, I'm going to say that, or she said this, I'm going to say that.
Wow. Hearing what they're saying and the words behind the words. Wow.
Yes, because for instance, I could be saying to my husband, why are you going out again? I mean, really? What I'm really saying is, I'd love you to be with me a bit more. I'd love you to spend more time with me. You know, but I guess we have to learn to communicate better. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And perchance somebody says something, look for what are behind the words. Actively listen to hear what the person is trying to communicate. And if that is going both ways, then you're hearing each other. And people can decide to make the necessary changes or not. And if they decide not to, that is still a response.
Amaka, you know, it's so, why this passion that you have for marriages?
Well, I've been married for 26 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We have to congratulate you. Not many people can do that successfully.
I've been married for 26 years.
Yes.
And I always like to say that I speak about marriage not because I'm perfect, not because mine is perfect. After 26 years, anybody who's been married knows that there would have been there would have been highs, but there would definitely also have been quite a lot of lows. And so I just feel it's something that I need to talk about. And in speaking about it, I learn myself. I speak to a lot of times when I'm speaking, I'm actually also speaking to myself. So I'm passionate about marriage because of the things I have seen in marriage over the 26 years I've been in marriage. And also because I've come to the realization that so much of what we're talking about, nation building, entrepreneurship, things like that, building a sustainable business. I mean, people trivialize the role that marriage and your primary relationship plays in these things. So it's fundamental to the growth of society, of a nation, of communities. It's just fundamental. And I've come to realize this. You know, I like to say what happens in the bedroom affects the boardroom. That's the truth. You understand?
What happens
in the bedroom, it affects the boardroom. It does.
Wow.
And so so I'm passionate because it's just so fundamental.
Yes.
We're at a stage where marriages are under an unprecedented attack. And what we're doing is we're producing broken people are producing broken people. It has ramifications generations down the line. So somebody comes from a situation where there's such a toxic relationship and marriage, and the children, that's what they're going to learn. That's what they're going to imbibe. That's what they've seen. They take it into their relationship. It affects their children. I mean, it's just it just goes on. It's like a ripple effect. So I'm so passionate about it because I believe there's a cause, and I believe that's my part in nation building, in building communities, in building the nation, in building sustainable businesses. There's a relationship, there's a correlation.
Because the home is the foundation. Yes, the home is
the smallest part of society.
Yes.
And so you have people who grow up, ideally, the values, core values, honesty, integrity, being part of a team, you know, all these ideally should be learned in a a loving, secure home environment. And the person, after all, people who do funny things are coming from somewhere. They are coming from somewhere. So I don't know, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about it. In fact, I always try to tone it down because then I get so passionate and worked up. And then when I watch myself later, I'm thinking to myself,
it's good. It's good to have people like you who make it
to myself, calm down.
All good and encouraging, and inspiring.
Oh, God.
Especially for the young ones
People,
to go into it, knowing very well that it is a bed of roses. People say, oh, marriage is not a bed of roses. It doesn't have to be thorny, or
no,
something.
It's not supposed to be.
Yes.
It may not always be a bed of roses, but it can't constantly be a bed of prickly thorns. There has to be, if your marriage is just constantly stressed.
Constantly be a bed of prickly thorns.
It's not supposed to be at all. Yeah, because some people are in situations that they, honestly, ideally, they really need to step out of because it's just so bad.
Because some marriages are toxic.
Some marriages have just gotten to the stage where nothing is impossible, but it's difficult. Yeah.
You were talking about work being done before even marriage. I'm aware that some churches do what they call premarital counseling, where you go for this counseling for about 4 weeks or something. But I say that is never enough to prepare you for marriage. I mean, nobody gets a manual.
Yes.
Nobody gets a manual. So the way it is, like you said, you have to work before it. You have to work
during it. Absolutely.
Through it.
Absolutely.
So there's something like, unlearning to relearn in marriage.
Yes, especially if you're coming from certain situations. And there's something like unlearning to relearn. Yes, definitely. And there's also the thing of doing due diligence for the younger people. I always say people who are not married have a unique opportunity to get it right. And I usually say, people laugh when I say this, those of us who are married, God is helping us. That's what I usually say. That's what I usually say. Yes. But for the singles, yes, there is a learning that needs to happen. And you see, a lot of people, pay more attention to, like if you're going for a job, you look at what kind of job, does it suit me? Does it suit my strengths? Do I have the skill set for it? You want to buy a car, what's the mileage? How much is it? Can I afford it? People take so much time with everything else, but when it comes to marriage, they think to themselves, he touches me and my whole body quivers, or she looks hot in a red negligee.
We're coming back to those ones soon.
But it's not enough.
Yes.
It isn't enough. It's not enough. So there is a relearning that has to happen. What do I really want? Where do I see myself, say 5-10 years from now? Does this person have the same core values as me? And we're not just talking religion here. We're talking even fundamental basics. I mean, I laugh about this, but it's a fact. I mean, if I want to live in a condo in New York or something in Manhattan or whatever, and this person who wants to, I don't know, be somewhere else, it can't work. So there has to be, you have to have discovered, for the singles, does the person have the same core beliefs as me? Do we have common values? Because if not, people say you go all Christianese, but the truth is two cannot walk together except they be agreed. Because if I'm coming to yours, to the Now Show, for instance, and somebody else is going to somewhere else, we must part ways. So for the singles, yes, there is a relearning that has to happen. It cannot just be about looks, the way the person talks, the way the person makes you feel. It can't just be about that.
Okay. Then, I'm going to say this. There's also this school of thought that says that marriages aren't so important. After all, almost all the richest men in the world are divorced. What do you have to say to that?
What I have to say, so it just begs the question that it's not all about money, and it's not all about looks, because if we look at it, it's not just about money. Let me put it that way. I want to be careful. It's not just about money. It's about two people being knit together, deciding to do life together, compromise for each other, identify what the other needs, and be willing to sacrificially give that person that, and each person trying to outdo the other in understanding, in commitment, in an agreement to walk life together. It's not all about money. Money cushions a lot of things, and money is good. I like money.
I like money.
Yeah,
too.
me too. I like what I like. I know.
Please.
I like what it can do. But it just buttresses the point that it's not all about money, and it's not all about looks. I know I'm a Christian and all that, but I like Beyonce and Jay-Z. I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
But Beyonce is a beautiful woman,
Yes.
and yet. So it's not all about money. It's not all about looks. It's about two people who are committed to doing life together. And they before they got married, they looked at their vision, they looked at where they want to go, they decided to align themselves, and even the differences they have, they decided that they were going to work through them. That's really what marriage is about. It's the feeling comes in, but it's not just about the feeling.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
Yes.
Because my experience has been, no matter how you feel,
Yes.
if you're not feeling supported, you're not feeling as if the person is committed to you, feelings move fast.
Yes.
And feelings are mercurial. I can be up today. Yesterday I was quite down because of a lot of things that I had heard and that were happening.
Yes.
And today I'm more upbeat.
Yes.
So feelings are not really a good gauge of what, feelings change. Let's put it that way.
Feelings change. So it's more to do with commitment to do life together.
And a decision. You see, you have to make that decision. I guess different things can be told to the married and the single. For the single, I would say go into marriage, and this may be controversial, as if there's no way out. Because what you do then is you make every effort to fix things quickly.
Because once you go in with that mindset of there's no way out, it makes it easier to work at it.
Because you really try. That said, no one should get me wrong. It doesn't mean if you're, you get into a situation that is your life is in danger, your sanity is in danger, your mental health is in danger. No, but I'm talking about don't go in with the mindset, if it doesn't work, I leave. I like to say marriage shouldn't be entered into frivolously, and then it shouldn't be left precipitately. Once you're in, you need to now really consider your options. If your life is not threatened and all that, it's something one must work at, because if not, then where do you draw the line on what it constitutes what you should leave for and what you may consider staying in spite of, kind of thing.
And I can very well say that you are a good teacher of how to stay and work in marriages with these books. And you have this interesting title
That's
for
what
your
everybody
books.
says.
You have, the way you play with words, and it's just amazing. So we're going to come to your books, Amaka. The first one, how to get your wife
to swing from the chandelier in a red negligee.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So what's that book about?
Well, this book I wrote, if you were to give the book a more mundane title, the title would probably be What Does a Woman Want? And so I say this book is a book that gives, men say they don't understand us, but this book, you will get insight into your woman's mind when you read this book. And then for us as women, we often say we don't know how to explain what we really want to our men. And so this book too gives you the words to tell your man exactly what you want. And people say the red negligee and swinging, it's just how do you get your wife to just be. To be happy. And be all she can be. Lose all inhibition, whether physically, mentally, emotionally, just to give it all to you, to open herself up to you completely. And we're not just talking in the physical sense. So that's it. That. Men reading it will know exactly what their women want, because they say they don't understand us, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that will help them do so.
Will
help them. And we say we don't know, he's not getting it. This will help him get it. Help you be able to tell him how to get it.
Great. And the controversial one, this is your second book.
In that one, we're committing murder. So
how
49 ways to get rid of the other woman without getting caught. Yep, that's it.
I'm shy.
I know, right? Yep.
Why that book, Amaka?
Oh, because infidelity is rife.
Wow.
I mean,
especially in this part of the world,
and
everywhere.
Funnily enough,
Everywhere.
yeah, but in the, I don't know, maybe because of our culture, whatever. Because it's not like the other cultures aren't, there's no unfaithfulness with them.
Yes.
But you know, maybe the Oyibo man, I don't know, people are watching from Oyibo is like maybe a Caucasian or something. You know, he'll come home, say, darling, I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. And, you know, everybody cries, I cry, you cry, we depart, we all move on, we separate our things equitably and all that.
Yes.
But you see, in the African community, there's a culture, I think it's partly culture, even partly even religion.
Yes.
We a lot of people want to eat. I know women cheat too, so because people are always telling me, but I'm talking from the men's point of view.
Yes.
Culturally, it seems as if it's a thing. You understand that you can have more than one partner. So this book is because of infidelity. I mean, I'm a counselor, I'm a certified counselor, and 99.9% of the cases I deal with are cases to do with infidelity.
Okay.
And so that's why the book. How do you get rid of this woman? People say, what's my business? If you reach out to me, I'll tell you what your business is with the other woman. I'm not saying confront her, but you can get rid of her. Okay. And this book will tell you how.
How?
Yeah.
And you know, talking about the culture, there seems to be, you know, like an excuse, a ready excuse for the men cheating. You know, they say, oh, it's part of the man. You know, you hear things like that. It's okay. You know, in fact, even for the women, you have your family members say to you,
just
hey,
stay.
Well, he's looking
that's how men do. Yes, that's how men do now.
That's how men do it.
Yes.
Just
look, face your front, face your children.
Hey. Meanwhile, any man who understands marriage, who understands what that covenant really means is about, would not even try to put another woman in the face of his wife.
Absolutely. And not only that, there are dire consequences when a man is unfaithful. That's the truth. You see,
which is why I love your book. Where did you put your organ?
Yeah.
So that's talking about the dire consequences,
of
infidelity.
Yes. And whether you're Christian or not, whether you're a religious person or not, there are consequences. Number one, everything reproduces after its own kind. So you're just making, if you notice, men who have this kind of thing, and I'm going to be really controversial here, they tend to produce the same kind. Because you can only reproduce after your own kind. So they tend to reproduce after their own kind. And even if you don't want to look at this from a religious point of view, the fact still remains that your son seeing that may consider it a viable option when it gets down to him. It brings, well, they need to get my book to see what the dire consequences are. But what I will say is that a man who feels the only way he can be a man is by having multiple women, there may be issues of self-esteem there. The person probably has psychological issues. These are very controversial things that I'm saying, but it is a fact. And I want to put a kind of a proviso, you know, polygamy, much as it's not something I agree with, there are rules and regulations that go by it. You know, culturally, and even for some of our religions, you can marry more than one wife. And much as this is not something I agree with, polygamy that I agree with, it is within a structured set of rules. If that's what you believe in, I will not disrespect that. But we're talking about multiple dalliances that have no structure. It's you know, once something has no structure, no rules of engagement, there's a tendency for abuse.
Wow.
You know, so I don't agree with polygamy, but let's even say that's what you believe, I can marry more than one wife, then there will be rules and regulations that abide, you know. But with this kind of, I call it the new kind of polygamy, there's nothing. You're just with multiple people doing all kinds of multiple things as if you have some kind of wandering spirit.
Wandering spirit.
You know, I'm very passionate about it. So so I would advise, I really wish men would read this book. So that if they look at the consequences, then they can make an informed decision.
You know, everything is about structure. I can see, you know, once the structure is in place, then it's easy to fall in line and everything like that.
The rules of engagement.
Yes. We did skip before, when, and after. You know, so that one.
Funnily enough, before, when, and after was a unique book. There were just 250. I just made 250 copies. It was a limited edition coffee table book. And it just contains multiple quotes and ruminations on marriage and the male-female relationship dynamics. A beautiful book, coffee table book. So it was a bit different from my usual books.
We have this thing on the Now Show that we do, which we call the last word, which is something that you want to leave our viewers with, that even if they don't understand the entire conversation we've had, you know, concerning marriages, something that you want to leave with them that they want to remember, what would be that last word, Amaka?
If your marriage is working, your marriage is beautiful, then keep at it, but you still need to work at it. And perchance you're one of the many people who are going through challenges in marriage. I'll tell you, if your life is not in danger, hang in there. Strength, courage, and character are always birthed through adversity. You need to walk tall through it all, and there's treasure to be found in darkness. Someone somewhere has gone through what you've gone through and has come through and then pulled others through. So keep at it.
Wow, you heard it all. Keep at it. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's treasure in darkness. All it requires is you being there, working at it. Somebody has been through it. You're not the only one. And no matter what, every adversity, there's always a way out, from what Amaka has said. And, you know, to be a winner, you can always be a winner in your marriages, from everything she has said. And to help you, try and get a book, so that that will surely help you host this institution of marriage that people don't want to talk so much about, but certainly it can be something that you can make a success out of. Please keep winning in your marriages. And for those who are not married yet, think about it, that you also can be a winner and get married. And until we come your way again on the Now Show, I'm your regular host, Abosede Oza Osho, signing off with my guest, Amaka Chika-Mbonu.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this with us,
Oh,
Amaka.
it's been amazing. Thank you for having me.
You
It's
will
really
be
been amazing.
a blessing to homes, certainly.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to like this video. And if you haven't, subscribe to the Now Show channel today and hit the notification bell so that you do not miss any video that is uploaded. Thank you for watching.